Alright, Broken Mech has made another video asking questions he already knows the answer to, so he's obviously just playing some more of his games, and it really is pointless until he gives us the answer to the question we've been asking him. What is your alternative theory of life and moral philosophy?
Yeah, I want to ask some questions for Gary's cult members, and for Gary as well, if he wants to answer. Basically, if you accept Inmendham's premise that all sentient life is predicated on suffering.
Well, whatever. I mean, this idea that it's predicated on suffering is just a little bit sloppy, okay? That's how it's built. That's right. And the problem is that, yeah, it's a finite planet, okay, so the suffering ends up being possessed by organisms that are cannibalizing each other. So that makes the sentience really problematic. And, yeah, that's probably enough for now. But, yeah, you got to remember the cannibalism part and the addiction part, and you just keep ignoring those parts.
It's a cheese-chasing game. It's a zero-sum game. You cannot win. Okay.
Yeah, okay, I mean, that part you should just be clear on, okay? It's like, I didn't make that truth up, okay? That's a theory that's put out there on the table. That means you have to knock it down with some kind of evidence or some sort of argument. Now, if you're saying we're actually accomplishing something, like when the sun finally blows up the earth and all sentient life and all human life and all everything is turned into atomized into little tiny bits, and there's absolutely not a single remnants of our existence ever existing. Billions of years of evolution, billions of years of suffering, billions of years of experience. It will accomplish actually absolutely nothing. There'll be nothing left behind. All right, there'll be nothing there. And while we were here, what did we accomplish? We fed on each other. We sucked each other's blood like fucking goddamn leeches.
And then you accept his moral philosophy that you weigh the efficiency quotient of, that you're spending suffering, how efficient is it? So,
yeah, that harm, that suffering, that pain, that unpleasant sensation, the experiencing of it is the value in the universe, that there's nothing else in the universe of value but the capacity to harm a sentient creature. Now, if you have some other theory of value, if you can explain to me something that's valuable, that doesn't affect a sentient feeling creature, then let's hear that explanation, let's hear that theory, but I don't think you're going to come up with it.
Essentially, if a life is causing too much unnecessary suffering, then that life can't be justified, or that.
Yeah, well, it's the question, even if we accepted the fact that our sensation of pleasure, our perception of the idea that we feel good, isn't, as I theorize, the consequence of creating first a negative state and then relieving the negative state. So it's a relative perception of positive value. There is no real positive. But even when we said there was a real positive, yes, you have to take the real positive of some human being feeling gratified because, he punched the guy out and got a TKO or whatever in the 12th round or something, and he feels all good about himself. And so you have to justify that ego gratification at the price of another guy who feels like shit, is also beat up. For what purpose? What was accomplished? For what gain?
The behaviors that are causing that suffering can't be justified. And I won't get into the, why I think that that's completely absurd. I want to
yeah, well, see, that's the idiocy of your whole fucking communication with anybody on any subject. Your unwillingness. You're going to call something absurd, and yet you don't have the courage to sit there and explain why rationally you can make that assertion. I mean, it's a bold assertion. Back it up with something, you butthead.
Personalize this for the cult members. So what I want to say is, if you take Gary's ethical equation and apply it to your own life, is your life justified?
Well, they might, each one of us has an individual life experience. So, I mean, I'll answer the question that no, my life has not been justified. It's been a colossal waste. All right, but the point is I'm already here. Point is also I'm also addicted. point is that if I go now, there's all kinds of strings attached to my life. There's people who have attached themselves to my existence, okay, are now feeding on me, okay, like lamprey or something. And so if I kill myself, I'm going to disrupt their life. They're going to have to pay a price for that because they've grown attached to my existence. My existence provides a foundation for them to get across muddy waters, or whatever analogy you want to use. Yes, it doesn't serve my interest. It doesn't do me any good. It doesn't create or justify my existence or my pain. But the fact is, it's a circumstance that's real. Also, you've got to consider that to end my existence requires the investment of more suffering, okay? You have to put more suffering on the table to get in the outdoor. You can't just get up from the stupid card game you're playing, you assholes, and say, I don't want to play anymore. You fuckers are going to force a person who wants to get out of the game to jump through your fucking sadistic, malicious, degrading, and pain-imposing hoops, okay? So allow us to freely leave, and you might be surprised how many people will freely leave.
Can you justify the suffering that your existence imposes on other sentient life on the planet? So I'm not just talking about the kids working in the sweatshops to make your clothes. I'm talking about suffering in Gary's context, in the premise of all sentient. Can you justify your existence and the imposition of suffering?
Again, it's not about, that's not the equation. They're not the ones who are creating the problem, okay? It's about creating the problem. It's about being Frankenstein, it's about being Dr. Frankenstein, not about being Frankenstein. Frankenstein's the victim. I'm the victim of somebody else's decision to play with consciousness. It wasn't my decision to play with it. And as I exist, again, it's an investment when you exist. And there's no, like I said, you've heard these arguments before. You're arguing that somehow they're going to be more effective dead than alive. Well, obviously they're effective and they're irritating you, which is great, fantastic, right there. I'd give them an applause right there. But there might be a day where they can pull a lever on a voting booth and make a difference. There might be some other way they can make a difference in the world. And so this idea that there's no hope to change social memes is idiotic. The fact is, you don't have a fucking argument. All right, you're displaying you don't have an argument. You just point a finger and say ludicrous. Well, guess what? I think over time we can defeat the point your finger and don't say a goddamn thing argument. We can defeat your irrationality eventually. Your delusions will not win in the end. And maybe if we're all in the fight, we can win the game. But yeah, who knows what the odds are? Who knows if it's a worthwhile investment? It's just complete bullshit, though, for you to turn the tables as if we are the ones who instigated the problem, like we spilt the milk. No, you fuckers spilt the milk. Assholes with your fucking attitude spilt the goddamn milk. You're the ones that has to justify your goddamn behavior, not us.
You create. And the second question I'd like to ask is, if not, if you feel that your existence can't be justified, do you have any, what do you think the chances are that somewhere down the line you're going to do something that's going to make up for it? That's going to...
Well, you know, what somebody could say to Martin Luther King when he was a kid, what do you think the chances are, Martin, of you doing anything to change the world or make a difference? And Martin might just say, oh, you're right, there's no fucking chance at all. Yeah, okay, I'll kill myself. I mean, this is just a bullshit argument. What chance number would say it's okay to you? If I say 1 in 50, if I just pull some number out of my ass, 1 in 100, 1 in a million? Yeah, who knows what the odds are in this lottery? Who knows probabilities? Who knows where the world's fucking going, you dumb fucking cunt? All right, but what we do know is the mess you people are making, okay? Assholes, the reckless reproducers like yourself. We see the mess you fuckers have made.
Balance that equation out. Somewhere down the line, you're going to do some act of compassion that is going to so greatly relieve suffering on sentient life.
Well, again, that's just plain stupid. No one said to Martin Luther King, are you going to do an act of compassion to make a difference? No, he didn't do an act of compassion. He did exactly the opposite. He was a fucking goddamn, he did a bunch of acts of irritation and obnoxiousness. He got in your fucking goddamn faces and shoved your nose in it. And that's what we're going to fucking do to you pricks like you, asshole. We're going to shove your nose in your own fucking bullshit.
That your continued existence has now been justified. What do you think the chances of that are?
Again, we're not the ones who have to defend our existence. You have to defend your behavior, asshole.
And I guess the simple number 3 question is, why do you continue to exist if your existence can't be justified?
Well, like I said, that argument's already been made. I mean, yeah, we're already in this shitty roller coaster, and now the decision is well, you just jump off. And I've again made the point. You jump off, and you still leave the Frankenstein in charge. You still let if you leave Frankenstein's laboratory intact, okay, you as Frankenstein jumping off ain't gonna do you any goddamn good, because that motherfucker's gonna make another Frankenstein. So until you break Frankenstein's lab, okay, there's no gain in getting the fuck out of here. All you're gonna end up doing is changing the name of the victim. So yeah, the victim won't be Gary, and you know, he won't have a mustache and whatever other changes you want to make. But yeah, it's going to be another victim of this stupid, preposterous irrationality that compels you assholes to think you have a right to play with other people's welfare.
And there's no realistic chance of you ever doing something in the future that will retroactively justify the suffering that your existence imposes.
Yeah, again, so there was no realistic chance that Martin Luther King at 5 years old was going to make a difference in the world. So again, this is just a bullshit argument. We can't predict the future. We're stuck in a game we didn't instigate. By playing the game at all, you grow attachments and connections that just make getting out that much more difficult. And again, the bottom line is you have to pay to get out. You can't get out until you collect enough hardware resources to make it possible for you to jump that gauntlet that you have to jump to get the hell out of here. Because you assholes won't give people the free, graceful, dignified death they deserve. Because you're fucking weasels and cunts and sadistic motherfucking crazy bastards.
Other sentient life. That's it, really?
Yeah, so again, another fucking cunt video from you, and you still haven't explained your alternative theory of life's origins and how sentience has acquired meaning, or how our existence has acquired meaning, beyond saying selfish people should just do their selfish thing, that we should just allow the DNA to own us, we should be completely controlled by a DNA molecule, we should just go by our impulses and our addictions and our attachments and our bullshit and be completely owned by a molecule that doesn't even have a fucking brain. And that's your fucking theory of life on Earth. That's why you are a complete asshole, an idiot, and a menace to sentience on planet Earth. You fucking cunt. You're not a cunt. You're an anus. You're an anus. A big, fat, juicy, hemorrhoid-laden fucking anus. Alright, the end of the video. Thank you very much. Till next time. Blah, blah, blah.